something different happens in the brain when you do things with your hands. And because I'm so aware of that, I started doing a lot of hands-on building kind of projects. I thought the box was going to be an evolving process throughout the project. I thought it would work well in that it offered the opportunities to convey things going on outwardly, you know, and inwardly. And I just gave them some starting off points, things to think about, that, for example, that the front of the box would be perhaps how a character projects himself. And that essentially, when I showed them these holes in the boxes, that they could start thinking about perceptions and windows, and that when you look inside, you know, say this was Iago's window into Othello, what he would see and what he would be blinded to. And I really kind of just left it, you know, at that. The other thing I did tell them was that anything they wanted to do with it structurally was entirely up to them, that I expected the box to be a revision as they moved through each act after Act 2. I let them group Acts 1 and 2 together. I told them that I wanted them to take slides of the box as it changed from Act 2 to Act 3.
So this is Act 3 continued. So here we started to make some changes to the cutout. So we outlined the mirror in green, which is Iago's color. And then we also put these green strings in, which as the play goes on will start to close out more to show that the way that Othello is seeing himself and those around him is really starting to be influenced by Iago's manipulations.
Because the most important part of the project was chronicling the progress of sort of perceptions and self-perceptions, how those change, and the character relationships throughout the play.
Very much because she went with this back and forth of, you're my lord because you're my father and you've given me all these things, but then Othello's my husband, so I give my loyalty to him.
Okay.
And obviously the drawbridge was because they had this relationship, but then Barancha basically sort of shut her off and called her dead to him.
Oh, very clever.
Yeah, that's why we sort of shut it.
This one, for example, these students here were dealing with Othello, and they decided to cover the top of this box with this shirt, which sort of represented, you know, the outward appearance of Othello, how he shows himself to the world.
The only thing that kind of covers up the fact that he's black in his society is that he's in like a leadership position. So we put some like nice clothes on him and a badge, but like the second you open it up, it's right there. It's like the next layer. It's kind of peeking out. You can unbutton this actually. And we just put like a lot of imagery of like stereotypical and like aggressive and some like derogatory like images of Africa, because it's like right under the surface.
They were thinking that he's a proud man, he's a humble man, but he's also kind of an insecure man, so he's not overly confident even in his own strengths. But then, you know, inside, this is what they did inside the shirt to show Othello being very sensitive about, you know, being black and trying to keep that insecurity at least, you know, unadvertised, but it was, you know, deeply within him all the time. I had initially planned this to end before their actual IB oral. And I had set it up where each group would do a presentation on their understanding of the character. And I figured that would work well in two ways. One, it would actually give them some oral practice talking about Othello before their oral, and it would be nice review for the whole class. But because of some missed periods, or we had some days we missed, I forget what, or the seniors missed, I forget what. We were off by like 2 or 3 periods. So the presentations got done sort of after their oral, and by then our minds were no longer really in Othello, and we but I still had them do it. You know, it was part of their grade. But if I would do it again, and I will do something like this again, I might start it just a little earlier.